Hello, I'm Lenore Bowles, and this is Life After Heartbreak. Today, we're talking about how focusing on the positive changed my life. It seems very simple. Just focus on the positive, but we've all been there where something negative happens, and then you're focused on that, and then something else negative happens, and then something else bad happens, and then all of a sudden you're in this like downward spiral of negativity all day. So I am here to talk about what I've done over the past year and a half or so to start changing the way I approach those negative situations. So being negative is not fun. Some people thrive in the negativity, like that's where they live. And I think it's just a learned behavior of being used to, I don't even know like what it is, but some people just like love the negativity, and that's a skewed way of living. That's not, I don't think deep down that they like living in negativity. I think they're just so used to it, and it's a learned behavior at this point that they don't know how to get out of that cycle. So I have learned over the past year and a half to kind of let things go and fall where they may, and not really focus so much on the bad part of whatever the thing is. So it's the half glass full approach, where you're not really focused on the bad part of it, but it's focusing on that silver lining. And I will say it definitely has changed my outlook, and it's changed the way I see things and even the way I see people. I, in the past, had always felt like this one particular person was out to get me. And no matter what I did or said, it was like always something negative or always something nitpicky. And I kind of just changed the way I approached this person. And I tried to empathize with the way that they, I don't know, maybe their life is going. I'd known a few things about what was going on in their life. And I kind of just said, you know, they're just having a bad day, or it's just the way they are. And in the past, it's just the way they are excuse would drive me nuts, because my thought was, that doesn't make it okay. Like, you don't get to be a jerk to someone, and just because that's the way you are, then everyone else has to deal with it. And that's not what I'm saying I do now, because I understand that this is the way they are and that's not okay. But I kind of try to put myself in their shoes and see where they're coming from. And that's half the battle. So I'm all on this kick now of like learning more and more about emotional intelligence, and how can I connect with people on a more authentic level, and what can I do to really understand how people tick, and like what makes people do and say the things that they do. And it's been very enlightening. And half that battle, like I'd say even more than half that battle, is a genuine interest in people. Got that. But also like understanding that people are doing the best that they can. People are not going to be jerks for the sake of being a jerk for the most part. Now, of course, you always have that one anomaly that you're like, I can't explain it. But for the most part, like people are not ill-intentioned just for the sake of being that way. They definitely, I would say we all definitely are good people at heart. Maybe we've had some bad breaks, or we've had like hard times, or we were raised a certain way that has caused us to like now live as a certain way as an adult. And maybe not everyone is at the same plane that you are. And I say that you are because you are watching this video, and you obviously want the information that's available to you because you want to learn and grow. And that's like all I'm about. How can I continue to grow to be a better person? And I say it probably almost every video. It's 2019. My New Year's resolution this year was to be a better person. No stipulations. And really, it was something that was very fluid for me. So whatever that meant in this moment is what I wanted to do. And I'm happy to report it's May 20th. And I truly feel like I have grown. And I know that I have, because I have gotten comments from people who know me very well, and they knew the old me, and now they're learning who this new person is. And it's good. I mean, it feels nice to have people be like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. Like, I'm glad you didn't react the way you would have in the past. Or, and this is probably the one that I get the most common, where I'm like, well, at least it's not fill in the blank, like something worse that could have happened in this situation. And that's a really good feeling, to not feel like I have to, like, feeling negative and being upset, like that is an emotional drain on my system. I don't know about you, but for me, I don't like feeling that way, because like I get home at the end of the day and all I want to do is just veg out on the couch, and I just want to lay down. I don't want to do anything. I'm exhausted, I'm tired, whatever it is. So it's definitely something that has changed for me. Once I decided that I'm going to give people the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to see things more positively, and I'm going to choose to not think that everyone has ill intent. I'm going to choose to think that people are well-intentioned. Those are the things that have allowed me to see people, especially people that I had contentious relationships with in the past, or maybe not even that, but just like, you never meet someone and they just like rub you the wrong way right away. I think that's more of what it is, first impressions. And for me, I could hold a mean grudge. I still can hold a grudge now, but I'm like working on the fact that people deserve second chances. And once I decided to like meet people where they're at, not where I expect them to be or where I am, the expectations of like perfection are no longer there. So they're allowed to just like be themselves and be authentic and like, I don't know, just like just be with no expectations from me or from anyone else. And it's nice because that's the way I've started approaching people. But now I'm starting to feel that same approach that I'm putting out into the world is coming back to me. And it's different, because you usually have people who will say, man, when I first met you, Lenore, I was so intimidated by you. And that used to offend the hell out of me, because I'm like, why were you intimidated by me? And they'd be like, I don't know, just like, I don't know, like just something about me, like you're so confident, and that was just intimidating. And for me, I had always felt like, well, it sounds like you need to fix something within yourself, because I've never said a word to you. You're making these judgments without ever knowing anything about me. And it used to offend the shit out of me, and it would drive me crazy. And now I kind of approach it as, well, there's something within this person that causes them to allow me being myself without ever talking to me affect the way they feel about themselves. Because now they're intimidated by an image or a thought or a preconceived notion of me without ever talking to me. And so that allows me to like not be pissed off in the moment. So in the past, I would be pissed off, and so now they already got one strike. Now I already am like holding this grudge against you because you accused me of being a certain way without ever talking to me. And that used to piss me off. It used to make me so mad. But now I can approach this person because I know that there's something within them that may be causing them to be insecure. So now I can meet them where they're at, not where I expect them to be. So I highly encourage you to focus on where people are, not where you want them to be or where you are. Where they are is where you have to meet them, because everyone has room to grow. Everyone has things that they need to work on, and everyone has goals and like aspirations for themselves. But my goals and aspiration for myself as Lenore is not the same as Mary or Amy or whoever else. Once I got that idea and it like stuck in my brain, and now I don't have to worry about hurt feelings or people being upset or whatever it is. Like, I can just meet them where they are, and I can just let them be who they are. That actually lifted like lifted a weight off my own shoulders, because now I don't have to get upset when they're not meeting the expectation I put on them. And this is talking personal life. Obviously, I'm not talking work life, because in your work life, obviously you have like rules and expectations and things that you have to do within the confines and like expectations of your job. I'm just talking about people. Like, some people are insecure. Some people are super confident. Some people are like talkers. Some people are very quiet. Whatever it is, I'm a talker, but I also like being alone. So I read an article like many years ago when I was in college, and it talked about like extroverted introverts, and that's how I identify, because I'm extroverted when I need to be, but I like to be alone to recharge and like refuel myself for the next interaction with people. And not everyone is that way. And I understand that I can't walk into a room full of introverts and like go up to them and shake their hand and like make them feel uncomfortable. I understand that now. I didn't always understand that. So once I got that stuck in my brain and I understood that not everyone is going to be on the same level as me, some are going to be well above, and there are plenty of people who are well above, and then there's going to be people who are still working to get to a higher level, and they're still working to achieve the things that they want to achieve for themselves. That releases all of the expectations, and everyone can just be, and everyone can just like be their authentic self. And it's beautiful, because now not everyone is stuck in the confines of whatever that expectation is, and they can just like be themselves. Everyone's different, and everyone has value, and everyone has like things to add to this world and society. And you don't have to hold people to your own expectation, because when you do that, people are not going to meet your expectations of what you want them to be. They're going to be themselves anyway. Some people are like people pleasers, and that's something that they need to work on, probably. That may work for them. For a lot of people, it doesn't work, and then they want to like be more confident, and they want to be willing to say no as a full sentence. No, dot. Nothing else beyond that. And but if I hold them to like a super high level, because that's where I hold myself, and that's usually what it is. Like, our expectations for ourselves are so much higher that we expect everyone else to be on that same level. Once we understand that everyone's at a different level and everyone's expectations for themselves are different, once we understand that and we start like living this, and we start like just accepting people for who they are without any judgments and without the expectations of you have to be a certain way, and you have to do a certain thing, and you have to speak a certain way. And I'll talk about speaking in just a minute, because this is my life as a Black woman in this country, and it's unfortunate, and that was kind of tough for me. But once we just let people be themselves, you see the value in other people. Now, if someone's being a jerk for the sake of being a jerk, you can call them out on that. That may spur them to change, but it's going to be the consequences. So you just talking about it is one thing, but if I remove myself from that situation and I choose to no longer interact with this person because of the way they act, that's going to be the consequence, and that will likely spur them to change more. Now, talking about speaking, the way we speak. So I have been called a white girl, or you talk white, or whatever, like you can talk a color. And that was like, it never quite made sense to me, because I'm a Black woman and I speak proper English. And growing up, I was always accused of talking white, whatever that means. And it would really bother me as well. Like, my response would always be like, how the hell do you talk a color? I don't understand. Like, how do you speak a color? I don't get it. But I understood that what people's expectation of me was not who I was. And this is true for a lot of women of color. And unfortunately, it is still true to this day. I am 32 years old and heard this like within the last couple of months. And I'm like, oh, we're still using that, huh? 1986 is when I was born. So from 86 to 2019, we're still having this same like and it's used as like a jab. It is a 1-2 punch, and it used to like really hurt my feelings growing up because I didn't understand why people who looked like me said these things about me. And sometimes it was family, it was cousins, and I'm like, damn, but I got it once I got into high school. And I definitely got it once I got into college, because now I'm the only woman of color in a psychology class. And now I'm the voice. And I have to be good. And I have to be well-spoken. And I have to like be eloquent enough to be the voice of Black people in this class. And unfortunately, that's the expectation. I don't want to be the voice of all Black people. Obviously, all Black people have different opinions. All Black people do not think the same things. That's crazy as hell if you think that. It's not true. But that's the expectation. Once I got into college and I looked around, I'm like, I get it. I get it. It all makes sense. Because, and I won't even say it like was a jealousy thing, because I don't think that was. I think it was just kids being kids. But for me, as an adult in college, I looked around and I didn't see very many women who looked like me. And I would be asked questions like, I was in college when Trayvon Martin was killed, and I was asked in a room full of people who did not look like me what I thought. And now I'm the voice. And that's a tough place to be, because if you don't say the right thing, you're the voice. And now there's a whole room of people who think this thing that you said. And it's scary. But once I was able to like find my own voice and become who I am, my opinions matter just like the other person's opinion matters. But I'm able to verbally say like, all Black people don't think the same thing, or all people like me don't think the same thing. And it's great because now there's like diversity in thought, not just diversity in people. And diversity in thought in the Black community it's beginning to get a little bit more popular. But let's be real, if you have like a dissenting thought, you are looked at sometimes like a pariah. And I will say, still be yourself. That is other people holding you to an expectation that they have for themselves. Maybe because they're afraid to be themselves. But sometimes it's because they're afraid to think for themselves. So I will say, be your authentic self. Stop holding people to the same expectations that you hold yourself, and meet people where they are. Once you learn to meet people where they are, you can help them grow to who they want to be, not who you want them to be. So I will leave it there this week. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm Lenore Bowles, and this is Life After Heartbreak. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. I ask you to share because you never know who this video may impact, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!